Hello and welcome to episode 11 of Trash Talking Podcast. Do you like metal and alternative music? What about gigs and festivals? If you also like film and TV, video games, and a healthy dose of 90s nostalgia, I think you just found your favourite podcast. Shall we get to Trash Talking? Yes, hello and welcome to Trash Talking. We have made it to episode 11. Who'd have thunk it? Who'd have thunk we'd get to episode 11? I thought I was just going to pack it in after the first episode, to be honest, but we're still here. You listen. God knows why you listen, but thank you. I love you. Today we spoke to the wonderful, the legend, Adam Cox, Mr. Download, as I call him. He runs Dear Download podcast, and without him, I probably wouldn't be here doing this with you. So thank him for that as well. We took the time and we spoke about everything Download, really, his download history, his music history, and everything in between. The good thing about getting guests on is we just talk about absolute nonsense for some periods of time, but for me, that's where the gold is. That's where the interesting stuff is. So, yeah, sit back, relax, and enjoy. But before you sit back and relax, just wait a second, because I need to shout out the wonderful guys over on Patreon who support me through thick and thin as a content creator. So we have Ethan Brown, Jaggy Sean Schofield. We also have Alexander Toon, the absolute ledge, and the one, the only, Vicky Rutter. Thank you all so much. Because of you, I'm able to continue doing this, and I love you all. Let's get into the episode. Hello and welcome to Trash Talking Podcast. I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm doing an Adam. I've got it wrong. I said I'd record the introduction afterwards. Yes, tonight we're joined by the legend, Adam Cox. Hello, Adam. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. Yeah, it's very nice to be invited on, and the fact that you called me a legend as well.
He's a legend.
Yeah.
Well, if it wasn't for Dear Download podcast and yourself and Simon, of course, I wouldn't be doing this, would I? So we've got you to thank for this podcast. And speaking of Simon, I'm glad to see you wearing your Simon Bond merch.
I am. The Simon Bond t-shirt that you made for me.
Yeah, we printed it specially for Download this year, just to represent Simon as much as we could.
Yeah, I was going to threaten him that I was going to wear it on stage.
I wish you had have done.
Yeah, I didn't.
So yeah, as we mentioned, you run the podcast Dear Download. How many years have you been doing that now?
Just over 3 now. I think we started. I think our second episode was like Simon's review of the pilot, which was 2021. So yeah, 3 and a bit years.
How did that actually come about then? The start in the podcast?
I don't know how far you want me to go back, but I was doing a podcast before this one, just with a few friends. We started during lockdown. I think a lot of people were starting podcasts and everything during lockdown because they were stuck at home. And that was about gaming, and it didn't really go anywhere. We had a lot of fun with it, but we called it a day after about a year. And the other guys, I think they got a bit fed up with it, but I was in the state of mind of I wanted to carry on. I wanted to keep podcasting. So, I was thinking about sort of what I could do, and I figured I've been to Download pretty much every year. Well, at that point, I had been every year. So I was like, I can probably do a decent podcast about Download Festival, and I tried it on my own. I'm not very good at talking on my own. I heard one of your episodes, you were talking about how you're just talking to a camera.
It's a struggle, yeah.
Yeah, and I tried that, and I wasn't very good at it. So, I saw Simon posted one of his videos on to Reddit. I didn't know him at that point, so I reached out to him and said, do you want to do a podcast about Download Festival? And he was up for it. So here we are, three and a bit years later, going strong, going well.
That's it. It's bizarre, isn't it, that something as simple as spotting Simon on Reddit, and then that's led to you performing at the festival that we all know and love, and you love so much. You wanted to start a podcast about. It's got to be It's got to be a really good feeling, like, to look back and think of, just because you went on Reddit that day and spotted Simon, you're now doing these huge things with the festival that you love.
Yeah, it's amazing, and it's not just that we've been invited to perform, which we were this year. We were invited to the press event back in April,
Yeah.
and hopefully we're on some lists for other things in the future. I know one of you got a guest coming up, hopefully, which is Rob Kellis, and I know he was sent a pack of stuff from Download, like containing like t-shirts and everything, and we want to be on the lists, those types of lists as well. So slowly working our way up, slowly working our way to having one of the stages named after us eventually, I hope. But
that's it, the Dear Download stage, the podcast stage.
yeah, but yeah, it's cool, man. Like I've had a few times where I've been a bit gutted and thinking we should have been further than we are, but to get where we've got in like 3 and a bit years, it's just incredible. It's a really, really quick. Just imagine a band doing it that quickly. It wouldn't ever happen.
No, not at all. No, things take as long as they need to take, and you can revel in it now. You can just enjoy it for what it is. You've built your audience, and what an audience they are. They are great, and they'll follow you whatever you do, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think it helps. It helps that we are the only podcast that does Download exclusively. I say we do other things as well, because we'd run out of stuff quite quickly if it was just Download. It's probably about 70% Download, 30% other stuff like news, other festivals. There was another one that was doing Download when we started. I didn't realize that until a few episodes in.
Okay.
But they've changed to do festivals in general now. So I can again say we are the only Download Festival podcast, which, like you said, has helped us get where we are. We are Download Festival. We're not just another voice in the crowd of other people doing stuff about music and festivals in general.
Yeah.
So it's helped us. Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm. No, it's brilliant. We'll move back a bit further back than Dear Download, just to start with, and I wanted to ask about your podcasting history. Obviously, you've mentioned the one about gaming. Is this was it Men Podcasting Badly? Was it?
Yes. Yeah, it was.
That's the name of the podcast previously.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I right in thinking you're teasing bringing that back?
Yes. Although we've tried several times to get everybody together, but it hasn't worked so far. But I mean, we've all. So what? I'll go into it a little bit actually. So basically, a friend of mine, Jacobs, he wanted to start a podcast, and we were throwing some ideas about, and we came up with like just drinking and playing old games, forgotten games, and where was I?
Drinking and playing games.
Yeah. Well, why was I saying that? Damn it! Can you cut this out?
Jacobs had come up with the concept.
The reason
wanting to play games.
Yeah. I mean, we threw a few other things around. He was a postman as well at the time. I'm a postman. So he was like, why don't we do a postman's podcast? And I was like, there are a lot of postmen. There was about 100,000 posties at the time. And if it's about posties, then a lot of them will listen to it. But
captive
I said to him,
audience.
What are we going to talk about? Well, we can't. There's going to be a lot of things to do with Royal Mail that we probably are not allowed to talk about. So we came up with that idea. Just drinking, playing games. And like I said, that was a lot of fun. What we did, we'd play a game each week and then talk about what we played. It wasn't a review podcast. We're a bunch of idiots. So it was more of a comedy podcast than a review podcast, really.
Yeah.
So like you said, we've got the other two guys back in. We've all played the games that we're going to play for the episode. It's just getting everybody together to actually sit and record it. It's something I've wanted to do for a couple of years now. But I had a lot of fun. I've been paying for Men Podcasting Badly to be sort of out there on the internet, on Spotify and everything, ever since we shut down, because the thought of that, everything we did, all the work I put into it, not existing anymore. I just couldn't. I didn't want that to happen. So I've still been paying Pod being like £11-12 a month for it to be
Yeah.
there still.
Just ready to make that return.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is out there at the moment. It's on Spotify. People can go and listen to some earlier episodes.
I believe so. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's definitely on
Okay.
Spotify. I don't know what else it's on because I haven't really logged into it for a long time. You've got to, I'm sure you know with Podbean, you've got to sort of go through all the different apps
Yeah.
and iTunes and everything and apply to be on them. And I haven't looked at that
Mm-hmm.
for a while. But yeah, it's definitely out there. Men podcasting badly.
There you go.
A parody of men behaving badly.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's another podcast for you to add to your lists of stuff to listen to, all you people out there.
Yeah. I wouldn't start at the beginning because it wasn't the best at the beginning and the audio wasn't great. You know, start maybe 7 or 8 episodes in. Actually, I think number 7 was our Christmas special. Look for the Die Hard one. It was a Christmas special. That was one of the best ones, and it was really good.
And that's a good place to start.
Yeah, definitely.
Perfect. I shall give a listen myself also because I'm intrigued to hear where you've started and where you've got to.
Yeah,
definitely. Okay, so yeah, dear Download, you are. I think it's safe to say, amongst us all, you are Mr. Download. Earlier, you mentioned you've been to most, but am I right in thinking you've only missed one, and that's the pilot?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a pretty good accolade to have been to. How many years is that then total?
This one was number 20, wasn't it? I did
20.
I did work it out. I think I've been to 20. This was number 21, including the pilot.
Yeah.
And I've been to 20 downloads.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's impressive, isn't it? I think the only person who's probably been to download more than yourself is Andy Coppin himself.
Probably. No, there are people. I do see people crop up on. I mean, they could be lying because it's social media, but I do see people crop up on like Facebook and whatever, saying they've been to all of them, and that includes going to some of the Monsters of Rock before as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, like you said, there's not going to be many of us still.
No, not at all. Did you go to any of the Monsters of Rock?
No,
prior to them stopping?
I'm not old enough really to do that. I did go.
No.
So at Donington Park, there was the Ozfest the year before Download started in 2002. I went to that, and that is basically what started my love for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there you go. You've made up for your missed year of the pilot anyway.
Yeah.
You were still on the grounds.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I like that. Never thought of that.
Mm-hmm. There you go. You can use that.
Yeah.
So, considering you've been to every single one, is there a definitive standout year that you think was the best year? No. Everyone is just incredible.
After a while, they just all start to blur into one. Back at the beginning, you know, cameras weren't really much of a thing. You'd have to take your own disposable camera or have decent equipment, and I'd never had decent equipment. But yeah, to remember the specific years, I'd have to remember like the campsite and who I was with. I think more than the bands, I would say the bands get forgotten over time. Well, not forgotten, but the sets they do get forgotten over time. But yeah, if I remember where I was camped, I think that would start to unlock some more memories. But I don't have those photos or the data, I guess, of
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, 20 years, that's a lot to be remembering, isn't it? Like,
yeah.
I mean, there's got to be some standout ones, surely, like your 2009s. I can imagine they stick out like a sore thumb, I'd have thought, in your memory.
Yeah, sorry, I did think that when you said it. Everyone, or almost everyone, says 2009. Slipknot were absolutely incredible that year. But no, I think I have more sort of little memories that stand out for me over the years. I would say though, last year is going to be up there with my favourites. With Bring Me the Horizon, just incredible. You know, I wasn't even a fan of Bring Me the Horizon before last year.
Yeah, I mean, we say last year. I was thinking last year. What is that? This year? Is that last year? As in Bring Me the Horizon, Metallica. But yeah, I agree. It was an excellent lineup. We were treated well with the weather. It's one of the first times I've not seen it rain a drop. So we were treated really well, and long may it stay that way. I mean, we had quite the complete opposite this year.
Yeah.
So I think after this year in general, we're due a treat and a dry year. So fingers crossed for that. So Bring Me
Hopefully.
the Horizon you've just mentioned. Are we expecting them to make their return so swift as next year?
I don't think so. Simon
No.
expects it. I
Hmm.
don't think they will be back just yet, but we had Queens of the Stone Age, Fall Out Boy. Avengers played before, but yeah, we had those two this year, so I think it's safe to
Yeah.
say that it's could be very difficult to predict anyway. No
Yeah,
one
I
would have
think this.
predicted them.
No, I think this year is probably the. Sorry, next year is like the most. Sorry, the quietest I've seen it in the lead up. I mean, we're in September now. Lineup announcements are normally what, end of October, start of November, maybe.
Yeah.
Um, so this is the quietest I've seen it personally in regards to rumors, leaks, everything like that. I'm sure they'll come out sooner rather than later, but I honestly do not know where to begin. Like in past years, you've been able to say, "Oh, they're touring, they're doing that festival and whatever." But there's so many
Yeah.
festivals now that, in Europe, that these bands kind of just forget that download even exists. If you know what I mean. Like last year, we'd look at this year, you'd look at Hellfest and what's the other one? Hellfest, Rockham. You kind of look at those for
Yeah.
inspiration as to who's going to play, but it was like as though download was completely different to any of those lineups, if you know what I
It
mean.
was, yeah. Yeah,
So
that's
we
true.
can't even take that as
No.
like inspiration for our rumors anymore. So it's exciting at the same time because I can't remember the last time that we had a download where it wasn't spoilt.
No, yeah, that's true. I think a few things are starting to come out now that we can rule some bands out. So Iron Maiden have been a potential one that people have been saying.
Yeah.
I would take that any day. I would take them every year. I
Hmm.
would take them all 3 nights. But um, I can understand that other people wouldn't want them there.
Yeah.
But they are obviously, maybe not obviously, but yeah, they've put out that they're doing some shows later on in the month, and
Yeah.
we know the in the contract that Download don't like have people playing their own shows before or after, things like that.
Oh, okay.
So Iron Maiden are probably out. Slipknot are
Yeah.
probably out. They were another one that people were saying might do it.
Yeah.
Um,
Why is Slipknot out? I've missed that one.
I think they're playing. They're playing some shows over in America around the same
Oh,
time.
okay.
Um, I think so. I actually don't know. I've seen it a few times today, but I didn't take it in properly.
Yeah.
The exact reason, but yeah, I think they're playing like the 14th over in America somewhere, and
Yeah.
then a few days after.
Hmm. Okay. So you wouldn't even know where to start, but again, it's exciting. Every
Yeah.
year we seem like I just always remember as soon as one person's seen it, that's it. It spreads like wildfire. These leaks.
Yeah.
I mean, we have dedicated channels in the Discords to make sure people don't see it, but there's no way you're reaching the actual lineup announcement without having it ruined, are you?
No. That was a very pronounced no. I'll start again. No, it has been happening a lot the last few years.
Hmm.
I think you can avoid the spoilers if you really want to. I
Yeah.
think it leaked. The first announcement leaked around 4 in the afternoon this year when it was meant to be about 9 or 4 this year.
Yeah.
And I was sat there looking at my phone thinking, do I look at it? Do I not?
Hmm. You just
And
can't help yourself, can you?
yeah, I ended up looking at it. I was like, we're gonna know these bands later on in the day anyway.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know.
Hmm. Exactly that.
And then it was Queens of the Stone Age and Fall Out Boy, and I was like, is this real?
That's the thing. Some of them are just so out there that you're like, no, there's no way that's real. No
Yeah,
way that's real. And then they actually announce it's real. Like, oh, okay.
yeah.
Which, to be fair, Fall Out Boy was a bit of a curveball for me, but that's probably one of the best performances I've ever seen at Download.
It was still good. Yeah,
Personally.
yeah. I enjoyed
Yeah.
it. I didn't watch Queens of the Stone Age. I enjoyed Fall Out Boy.
Hmm.
We didn't see much of Avenged Sevenfold this year.
No.
No, we were quite far back when they were. We were there for maybe half the set, but we were quite far back, so couldn't see much of what was going on.
Yeah, I ended up rather drunk. We obviously being the Sunday, we finished. Well, I finished all the booze supplies that we'd snuck into the arenas, so I was just drinking this rum neat. And ended up going on the wheel during the headliner, something I've never done before. So that was
Yeah.
interesting. That was fun. I think that's going to become a bit of a yearly routine now. Get on the wheel for the final performance of the weekend.
Yeah, I've never
That's
been
for
on that
sure.
wheel. How much was it?
The sneaky, the very, very sneaky. So we went there during the day and we're like, oh, it's only £8. £8 each.
Yeah.
We'll do that. It's like the close of the festival. It's nice. It'll be good for the video as well. £8 each. And then we went back later on and they doubled the price just because it was during the
Really?
headliner.
Okay.
So it ended up costing us £32.
Yeah.
So
Jesus.
they are sneaky, but there's no other time I'd rather do it, to be honest. During the final headliner, I thought they were going to do like fireworks and stuff and we'd see from up there, but we obviously didn't. But
Yeah.
it is what it is.
Yeah. Going back a little bit to who could potentially headline next year, I think there are a few interesting things, though, because I'm sure you've probably heard, or a lot of people probably would have heard as well, that Andy Copping, for this year's download, he approached like 21 bands, I think it was, before getting the headliners that he got. So that may mean that he was looking a lot earlier than he would normally do, or he might be thinking, we need to get maybe some certain bands that he really wants. So maybe he's put in extra money, or I don't know how it all works. I'm hoping to at some point through various ways. But I think that's interesting, like how much he was let down last year. So it could be a big one. I mean, and all the other festivals this year are huge. So if they don't announce a really strong lineup, especially headliners, then it is just going to be a bit of a fizzle, I guess.
Bit of a quiet year, bit of a letdown.
Yeah.
I mean, it'll still be enjoyable regardless, but I know what you mean. Like, we've looked at Bloodstock. Bloodstock are like over 80% sold out already.
Yeah.
Slam Dunk, we were lucky enough to get tickets to Slam Dunk on the day that they released them. On the day that they announced the lineup. And within minutes, because what they do, it's really good, to be honest. We'll delve into it. Ticketmaster do the what's it called? Dynamic pricing. Everyone hates it. It's shit. Everyone hates it.
It's crap.
But the way Slam Dunk do it is really good. It's weird because it sounds exactly the same as dynamic pricing, but it's not. They do it so they release the first band of tickets, which is the super early bird, which is thank you for trusting us to put on a good festival before knowing the lineup. You get it for £90.
Right.
And then after they've sold out, it's the early bird, which is when they've announced the lineup. Thank you for buying a ticket fast enough. And then it goes to general sale, which is like something like £120. So it's just like, if you get in there early, you get a cheap ticket, but there's no mad inflation.
Yeah.
So I can really get on board with that. And I wish that was something that Ticketmaster would do instead of being knobheads, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because it really is dreadful.
Yeah.
I mean, we could spend an entire podcast talking about that, I'm sure. I mean, in related news, we'll go from Ticketmaster being knobheads to Linkin Park.
Okay.
You're a fan.
I am. Kind of.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm right there with you with the new lineup, the new band, the new song. I'm there with you. You're saying you've listened to it maybe 30 odd times or something already.
Last time I said the number out loud, it was 30. It's probably closer to 50 now.
Yeah.
It's just incredible. I think it just ends too soon. Something Kelly pointed out to me, and I was like, actually, yeah, you're right. That's why it keeps wanting people to come back for more or listen to it again, because it feels like it should be more to the song. But yeah, I love it. I love the song. I was not actually that bothered about Linkin Park for a long time. I loved Hybrid Theory and Meteora. Didn't really care for much else they did over the last 20 odd years, or 15 or what so years.
Yeah.
And it took me by surprise how much I like the latest song. Obviously the new album coming out soon, which I'm going to be listening to as soon as it's released.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's probably a good thing. The fact that you haven't listened for so many years, you're coming into it with fresh ears again.
Yeah.
Rather than being a fan that's, had it in the playlist every day of the life kind of thing. But that's me. I listen to Linkin Park probably on a weekly basis, but I'm very much in the camp that I'm happy that they're back. I'm happy that they're happy, and we were able to enjoy them when they were about, and then now at least the new generation is going to be able to enjoy Linkin Park in whatever form that is. So
Yeah.
I think it's great that they're back. I'd more than welcome them to the festival route next year. If they were to, I think that's what Download need for next year to compete with the other lineups that are out there. If they announce Linkin Park, that's it. Can you imagine if they did Linkin Park, Bring Me the Horizon, insert classic rock band on Sunday? That'd be a sellout year.
Definitely.
So if I feel like that's going to be their saving grace, essentially.
Yeah,
but I'd be well up for it.
And I think that is also interesting. So again, we will know that at each Download Festival, they usually know who the headliners are for the next year. They're booking them a year, maybe 2 years in advance.
Yeah.
But Linkin Park have said that they've been working on this for a long time. So the chat and they will know how the whole thing works. They'll know how festivals work even, and how far in advance they book. So if they want to be playing festivals in 2025, they would have been contacting these festivals back in early 2024, probably saying that we want to come back. We want to play 2025, and they probably know that whoever they contact would fork out the money for them and say, yes, we need you.
Yeah.
The world has missed you for the last 7 years. And I would love it if they are there. I would absolutely love it. I'm not interested in going and buying a ticket for, well, when they're sold out. I wouldn't be interested in going to see them at their own show.
Yeah.
I say I wouldn't be interested. I'd love to go, but it's the whole getting in a queue to get a ticket and the amount of money that it costs.
I know the pain.
Yeah,
we tried.
You didn't get a ticket?
No. So myself, Alex, and Sean, the three of us, we all tried, and I can't believe that out of the three of us. So for me, Alexander, and Alexander's wife, we were trying to get 2 tickets for me and Alex. No luck at all. And then Sean was just completely unsuccessful as well. And I can't believe that. I think Vicky tried as well. Vicky tried, and I've never known a gig where there's nobody that I know that's going.
Yeah.
So it's just bizarre to me, the fact that they all went so quick. But this kind of dispels the hate that people have got towards them at the moment. That there's so many. It's like the loud minority. And it's an example of that, isn't it?
Yeah.
If it was so bad, the lineup that they've got currently, they wouldn't be selling out the O2 in London within a minute and a half or whatever it was. So it's another case of the loud minority, and but couldn't get tickets. I would have loved to have gone, but unfortunately I haven't. I've got a reminder on Twickets. So if one goes for sale, I'll get a ping on the email and I'll try and get it anyway.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed something comes through.
Have you seen any come up at all for it?
No,
not
none
even
at all.
For ridiculous prices.
No.
Oh, man.
The people who've bought the tickets, I mean, I'm happy for it because I'd much rather people keep the tickets and go and see them. But it seems as though the people who've bought the tickets are the people that have missed seeing them for the 7 years or however long it's been.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to see that anyway. But it's bizarre because if people have watched my video where I went and played Linkin Park music, that was actually Chester's final show. Sorry, that wasn't Chester's final show because that would have been a bit weird. The show I went to see in Birmingham was Chester's final show. That's what it was. So it would have been nice to then go and see their first show back, but it is what it is. If they end up playing Download, I'll still be happy. I'm banking on it, to be honest. So fingers crossed.
I think they're not going anywhere. So if it's not this year, they'll be back next.
Exactly that.
Next year, the year before. Yeah, the year before, the year after, or at some point in the next few
Yeah,
years they'll be back again.
of course. So we'll be able to enjoy them at some point.
Yeah, and my theory on that is that their last show is on the 11th of November,
Okay.
in Bogota. Is it Bogota? Bosnia?
Yeah, Bogota in
Bogota.
Cuba, is it? I think.
Can't
I don't
remember.
know.
Anyway, it's on the
It's where
11th.
Narcos is based.
Yeah. It's on the 11th of November. We normally get a download announcement around early November. So I wonder if they've done that deliberately, and then download will be announced. I'm guessing, what I'm predicting, is going to be, we're going to get the announcement a couple of days after, on the 13th, on Wednesday the 13th.
Yeah.
And it will be Linkin Park. Because
There
I've
you go.
also said in the Discord, Rock Am Ring, and Rock Im Park. They, I wasn't sure, but I reached out to some people and said, look, do they normally announce bands individually, or do they just do a blanket, this is who's headlining? Because they're doing them individually at the moment. Bring Me the Horizon is one of them. I think Rammstein's the other one. And I reckon they were waiting to be able to announce Linkin Park.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to wait until November to do it, because they don't normally wait as long as download do.
Yeah. Well, someone's going to have them. It's just who's going to have them, or is everyone going to have them?
Yeah.
That's a complete possibility as well.
Yeah.
Rockam, Hellfest, Download. They could all. That's three separate countries that want Linkin Park, isn't it? So it's very possible.
Yeah.
Of course it is.
But
it'd be excellent if that was the case.
Yeah. But the other thing is what I was saying earlier about Andy Copping being on the ball trying to get headliners early for next year. Maybe he missed out on them. Maybe he'd already locked in the 3 headliners because of that.
Possibly. Yeah. So imagine that. Everyone else has got them, and then we've got some recycled lineup that we've had 6 times.
Yeah.
We'd all be on the flight to France, I'm sure. Right. So we've covered Dear Download. We've covered your history. We've covered a bit of current news. Are we happy to dive into the Trash Talking podcast questions?
Absolutely.
Lovely. So you've had a chance to see the questions. Have you done some revision?
I have. The day that you sent them, and it took me about 8 hours to get back to you. I was actually doing the revision then. Instead of actually replying saying, yeah, I'd love to, I was trying to remember what my first album was.
Okay.
Just doing lots.
I thought you were just ignoring me.
Kind of was. We're not going to work. Not deliberately.
Okay, super. So you've just said it yourself. I've asked you, what was your first ever album? Can you remember?
Not really.
No?
That's why I was trying to work it out. So when I was sort of young teens, early teenager, I collected singles. I think I must have collected about 150 CD singles from the charts, pop music. I absolutely loved music, but I don't think I ever bought any albums. I think the first albums I got were for Christmas, and I think I'd asked for 4 different albums, and I got them all.
Yeah.
I know one was Billy Piper's Honey to the Bee. I know one was Offspring's Americana,
yeah. Good choice.
Is it Americana? The one with pretty
blue
Piper,
cover,
white
and
tie?
It's got the child on the swing.
Yeah, because the one after that's Conspiracy of One. It wasn't that. It was Americana, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure one was a singer called Robin.
Rings a bell. Yeah.
Fell in love with her massively. Listen to that.
Like club tunes.
She did when she came back, so she was pure pop to start with. She did Show Me Love. You might not remember that. Show Me. I don't put that in.
Go on.
But it was actually the second single she released from it. I saw it on Top of the Pops. I was watching it. I was like, this is an amazing song called Do You Really Want Me? And so I asked for that album. And I cannot remember what the 4th album was. I know it was 2 pop albums and 2 sort of punky albums. Or it might have been. I never actually looked. It might have been one of the Blink-182 ones, actually. But yeah, sort of 2 pop, 2 rockish.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm annoyed that I cannot remember. I think that was my first albums. I don't think I bought any myself before that.
So you were diverse to start with. Then is that where you started pop music? I assume, and then you
Yeah,
kind of, I suppose, like all of us, we kind of grew into rock music, alternative music.
yeah. So I'm a little bit older than you, and I would sit by the radio on a Sunday listening to the top 40 and recording on a tape
Yeah,
which songs I liked. Yeah.
nice, old school.
Yeah,
I can't remember, to be honest. I can't even remember listening to the top 40 on Sundays. I remember watching Top of the Pops on was it a Friday night?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, that's as much as I can remember personally. Getting all the now that's what I call whatever it was. It was probably like 50 something when I was younger. Now
Yeah.
that's what I call music.
Yeah.
I don't even know if they still do those anymore.
I think 42 was my favourite. It was a light blue cover.
Hmm.
I had NSYNC, Backstreet Boys on it, and a few other really good ones.
Was that like the underwater one? Blue cover,
could have
underwater one.
been.
Yeah,
Yeah, there
we
must
had
be
every
like
one. Every time one
hundreds
came
by
out, we
now.
had them as well. Yeah, that's it. We could do with starting, and now that's what I call alternative or something like that.
Well, I started doing something similar to that.
Yeah,
Getting people to sort of send in 10 bands that they'd love to see play a download, and I'll put a playlist out. It was
of
every
course.
Friday to
Yes.
start with, but I've dropped the ball on that a little bit. I mean, I think the first few that I did got a lot of saves, and people sort of
Hmm.
started ignoring it. So I still have some to put out because we are going to be sort of listening to them and talking to them for our
Yeah.
Patreon. But
Hmm.
I think I'm about a week overdue from the last one. Apologize if it's you who's next in line.
Yeah.
I'm gonna...
Waiting for theirs to be released. But I think I may look into doing that each year. Just like compile. I mean, there were big albums, weren't they?
Yeah,
Double discs, if I remember rightly. So
yeah,
maybe like 30 odd songs. Like we just compile 30 of the best songs from that year and make a playlist each year or something. That would be a good idea.
yeah.
I'll look into that. Don't hold me to it, but I might look into that. Okay, so next question is, what was your first ever gig or show?
First ever big gig was Slipknot on the Iowa tour.
Oh, well.
Or was it? Bugger me. I think Raging Speedhorn played my hometown, and it might have been before that actually. No, it was 2001. I can't remember. Around the same time.
Hmm.
But yeah, Slipknot on the Iowa tour in 2001. I think I went to either Cardiff or Birmingham. I can't remember. That was
Yeah,
just insane.
I'll bet.
Before that, I had been going to a lot of local gigs before that. You know, we had a really, really good music scene around here.
Where's that?
In Bridgewater, in Somerset,
Hmm.
Southwest. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So I mean, I was going to gigs from like 14, and
Hmm.
yeah, the strange thing is, I'm just going to go into this completely off
Go for
topic.
it.
Sorry.
This is what we're here for.
Um, yeah, like so I knew a couple of people that already went. I was like 14 at the time. We were still over to drink. I had a big beard in school. I could
Hmm.
get us drinks, and we'd be stood sort of by the doorway, and we'd see all these people coming in, talking to everybody, and I'd say hello
Yeah.
to a couple of them, and that was my goal. After that, I was like, I want to be like these people who walk into a gig and know 90% of people in the room.
Everyone knows them, yeah.
Yeah, and that's basically what happened over the next probably 10 to 15 years
Hmm.
of me going to gigs around sort of my hometown. I probably went to 90% of the gigs here, like local gigs, and they were probably
Yeah.
on at least every other week. Um, I don't really go to any local gigs anymore for
Yeah.
several reasons. So I'm doing the same with download, and instead now I'm up to my game.
Yeah.
Keep going to download until 90% of the people there know who I am.
Yeah. 90% of 70,000 people.
Yeah.
Imagine that. 60 odd thousand people coming and saying hello.
Oh
That's
Jesus.
the goal.
Yeah.
But yeah, on about going to local shows and that. I know what you mean. Like you'd constantly see the same people at
Yeah.
so many different gigs. I had the same vividly. I can remember these two guys, older guys. One was really tall, and then the other one would always wear like a cowboy hat. And I'd always see them Wolverhampton gigs. I'd see them at the Robin 2 in Bilston, at the Civic in Wolverhampton, and then I'd see them in Birmingham at the O2 and the Institute. And now I even see them at Download.
Do you?
Like, I just see these two guys everywhere.
Yeah.
Everything that's musical or like a gig or anything, constantly see. And I've like yourself, I've been going to gigs since I was like, I'd probably say 14 as well, really. But I'm not about to approach these guys and be like, I've seen you at gigs since I was 14.
I was just about to say, have you spoken to them? Do they know you exist?
No,
Or are you
no.
just longing, admiring from afar?
Admire. That's it. Admiring from afar. Yeah. Maybe one day I'll have drunk enough to approach them. I mean, that's what happened.
Sounds good, man. You should get them on the show and talk to
Yeah.
them and say, look, I remember
They've
seeing
probably got
you.
a few stories to tell,
Yeah,
considering the amount of gigs they've probably gone to.
yeah.
If you went to gigs in Wolverhampton and Birmingham, you've got a tall friend and you wear a cowboy hat, get in touch. Can you imagine there's a guy sat at home listening with a cowboy hat? He's like, wait a second. That's me.
That's me. That would be so cool, man, though. Stranger things have happened. So,
That's it.
possible.
That's it, exactly. I mean, talking on about like bumping into people and whatever, I remember just before, so it would have been last year at Bloodstock, just before Killswitch Engage came on. A big guy stood next to us and we just got chatting for some reason. And we're all rather drunk and we ended up doing rock, paper, scissors with this guy.
Yeah.
Just me and him. And, you know, it is after a drink, you end up like as if you've known them your whole life, chatting and whatever. And Sai ended up recording it. So it was in the vlog and everything. So after we'd all been drunk, we'd forgotten about it. Sai actually had like the evidence that this rock, paper, scissors had happened.
Yeah.
Anyway, never saw the guy again at the festival. And we went to see Thy Art Is Murder in Birmingham. And I bumped into him.
Yeah,
And
nice.
we just both recognised each other. It was really funny. And his missus was like, "Oh, for fuck's sake," kind of thing. But no, that was great. Like it's such a small world that you can bump into people.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens often, doesn't it? But it is bizarre. It really is. Yes. Right. Next question. So I've asked you, what was your first ever gig or show? What was the best ever gig or show? Do we think? Which one's top?
The very top has got to be. Can I say if does a festival count?
I'll allow it because I feel like I know what it is.
The Ozfest 2002, because that's what got this all started.
That was where it all started. The love for Donington, as we know it.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Who was there for Ozfest? I mean, obvious answer to
Ozzy.
Yeah.
I remember System of a Down were there. We didn't see much of them. It started raining. Cradle of Filth were there. You might have heard this story, but it was sunny all day.
Yeah.
During the day, when it started raining for System, I think it was just starting to get dark. But Cradle of Filth was on during the day, sunny all day. When they came on stage, there was a massive black rain cloud overhead, and it rained for their entire set. And it was sunny again after, and it was just insane. And Danny Firth actually said on stage that we brought this rain cloud with us, or we ordered this rain cloud. Crazy. It just had to be there. But yeah, so it was Cradle of Filth. I think when we went inside during System of a Down, we saw Kitty, and then El Nino. El Nino were headlining, so this was actually inside. Do you know there's like a conference building along the side of the track? You seen that?
Yes, I think I know it. Yeah, I think there's rooms in there that you can actually stay in.
Is there? Oh,
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the second stage was in there at the time, and you could walk all
I was actually in that building.
Yeah. Yeah. Inside.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I didn't think that building was that big.
I think so. It was a long time ago. I can't remember, but yeah, it was quite big. Maybe they changed it. Maybe they added it, like maybe separated it into different rooms now for conferences and everything. But yeah, it was quite big.
I mean, how many years did that stay that way for Download? Did it stay that way? Was there ever any stages in that building?
No, Download never did.
No.
They did have something in there, some kind of circus thing, I think, going on in there one time. That might have been happening for a few years. Maybe there was like skateboarding in there at some point as well. But Yeah, they didn't use it for music after that. So the second stage was actually behind the main stage for the first few years of Download. You have to sort of walk across the left-hand side of the stage and then follow
Oh,
it
okay.
down. The tent was huge as well. I think the second stage tent was about the same size as probably the doghouse is.
Oh, well.
Yeah.
Well, I never witnessed it, obviously in the track, but I always like seeing the footage and the pictures and that with the wheel. It looks really, what's the word? Proper old school, if you know what I mean. It'd be
Yeah.
nice if there was more footage. Like, imagine if there's a Chids vlog out there somewhere in the old school grounds.
It's funny you say that. I mean, I'm not going to say yes, there is a vlog from the first one,
Mm-hmm.
but excuse me. A friend of mine. So the reason why I said like, you can have disposable cameras or a really good camera, because a
Yeah,
friend of mine recently sent me some pictures of Download 2004 and 2005, and they don't look old and grainy like photos
yeah,
from that era normally do. So he's got them all saved. He only sent me ones of myself,
yeah.
but it was as if they were taken yesterday. So I've
Mm-hmm.
been meaning to contact him and say, look, can you send me everything you've got of those years?
Yeah.
I like looking at myself, but that's cool. I just want to see more of
You
the
want to see the
festival and
festival,
remember
yeah.
it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah,
Have you
so
sent those pictures? Have we seen those?
I put them in our Discord a little while ago. I can send them to you
How
if you
did you?
want to. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll have to have another look because I'd be interested to see. And yeah, definitely get on to them and try and find some more because I'm interested. I want to know what it looked like.
yeah. But there was one of
Mm-hmm.
them. So this was back when I was young and a bit of an idiot. So me and a friend, we stayed up all of the Sunday night, just going around the campsites, shouting
Yeah.
"knee" at people. And we got back to our camp, obviously Monday morning. I packed my tent away, and then I got tired because I'd been awake all night, so I
Yeah.
sort of used my tent as a pillow. And everybody who I terrorized during the night got their own back on me and was throwing crisps at me and all sorts of stuff.
Oh,
So
nice.
one of the pictures is just me covered in all sorts of shit. Um, Apparently they threw a welly at me, and I just sort of turned over and cuddled it. I think the one thing that woke me up was someone threw like a tin of beans at my chest or something like that. Or
Yeah.
maybe that didn't even wake me up. I can't remember. But yeah, so that is the story of one of the pictures where you'll see me lying on the floor covered in a
Covered in
load of
crap.
crap. Yeah,
Awesome. Karma. That's what I'll call it.
pretty much. Yeah, I would say
Mm-hmm.
so. Yeah.
So all the years that you've been, did you ever used to look at the lineup, or was it just you knew that you liked going, so you just thought, I'm going to get a ticket regardless?
Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there. Yeah, there were a few years. I mean, obviously we look at it now, but there were a few years where I knew I was going to go. I hadn't missed one,
Mm-hmm.
so I would be going just to not break my streak, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd give it a quick look over, and there've been lots of years where I'll say to myself, I'm going to listen to all of these bands this year,
Yeah.
and I never did it until we did the podcast. I'd listen to a couple,
Mm-hmm.
and then get bored. But yeah, you're absolutely right. There were some years where I wasn't even that interested in a lot of the bands playing, but I would go because it was my holiday for a long time. Like I went to America
Yeah.
when I was 15, and then the next time I actually had any kind of holiday other than download was about 30. So I didn't have holidays every year. So that was my holiday, just going and getting drunk with a load of friends in a field.
That's it. Socialising, relaxing,
Yeah,
doing what you want to do. That's it. It's the same for a lot of people, isn't it? It is their holiday, especially these folks that are paying over 800 quid for RIP. Anyway, that's
that's crazy.
that's crazy. We
Yeah,
won't delve into that now, but yeah,
but it's
maybe another
nice.
time.
We don't have to pay any. Well, we haven't had to pay for the last couple of years. I can't say that we
Yeah.
never have to pay again.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm thinking of starting up a little sort of tally, or I'm keeping track of how much I've saved every year, and sort
Yeah.
of celebrating when they've paid me more than I've paid them, if that makes sense, or
Oh,
it
okay. Yeah.
balances out. Work out
Yeah.
how much I've paid to go every year.
Have you got all your tickets from your old ones that you could figure that out? So
Somewhere,
what was that? Sorry.
somewhere.
Somewhere.
Yeah, I've got
Mm-hmm.
them somewhere. They're all here
So I
somewhere.
dread to
I don't
think
know
how
where.
much some of the first ones were. Some of the first ones have got to be like 70 quid or something. Even less than that, I'd have thought.
First one was 95.50, I think.
Yeah.
I know that because I looked it up to show someone the other day. Camping was separate at the time. I think it was like 20 or 30 quid to camp. But yeah, for the weekend ticket, it was like 95.50, I think. £98, something like that.
As if. So all in, it was probably like 120 quid.
Yeah.
For everything.
Yeah, because you probably got like the parking with camping. Maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't drive until probably 2011, 2012.
Mm-hmm. Mad thinking it how much more expensive it is now. I mean, I don't even know how much it is. I haven't bought my ticket. I'm thinking of waiting until there's a dirt cheap one on Twickets when someone's decided they can't actually make it the week before.
Yeah,
that's my intentions for this for next year anyway. But it's very expensive, and I'm surprised there's so many people who can afford to go. Like I was talking to my wife the other day, and we were saying the scene, like the festival scene, seems to have exploded in the past. Not even the past. Well, yeah, I'll probably say the past 2 years, and everyone just wants to get to festivals all of a sudden. Like before, when we were going in, I mean, my first one was 2012, and we went subsequently each year after that. And every year it just seemed quiet. Nobody was interested. And if you spoke to anyone, nobody'd know what Download Festival was. But now it's everyone needs to go to gigs. Everyone needs to go to festivals. It's obviously excellent because it's keeping the scene alive. The scene is thriving, but the difficulty in getting tickets, Linkin Park and whatever,
yeah,
it's gonna get old pretty quick. So either bands need to do more dates,
and not
and
have dynamic pricing,
and not have dynamic pricing, or I'm never going to be able to get tickets to gigs anymore. Festivals as well. I think they need to make the areas bigger. In fact, I know that Bloodstock have expanded for next year.
Have they? And they're still almost sold out.
And they're still almost sold out, yeah. I'm not sure to what extent they have expanded, but they definitely have because of the initial demand. So maybe Download need to, well, we'll see the lineup first, I suppose. Maybe they need to downsize. We shall see.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you've listened to my latest episode, but I did say what my plan for Bloodstock is.
Yeah, yes, you just reminded me. I was listening to that again, cheeky bastard.
Yeah, so I hadn't actually told Stu at that point, but yeah, me and Simon were talking about Bloodstock, and he said about, am I gonna get a ticket? And I was like, well, I'll wait for Stu to get accreditation, and I'll buy his ticket off of him because I know you already bought it. I probably won't be able to go. I really want to go. This year looks amazing, but it's getting time off work.
Yeah,
I can have the kids and everything.
You definitely you're ill that weekend. I've heard. You got the shits that weekend.
Yeah.
Just have a Yorkie pud the weekend before and say that you've got the shits. But yeah, relating to that, the tickets went on. Sorry, the installment tickets went on sale whilst we were away camping.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm going to try and get the accreditation. I'll get on well with the guys there now. But then when I saw that it was selling out so quickly, I thought, can you imagine if I don't buy a ticket, it sells out completely and they don't want to know me when it comes to accreditation time.
It's always a worry.
I couldn't risk it, so I had to jump on it and get one. So if I do get accreditation, I should get a +1 again for Georgia. And then, yeah, you are welcome to it if you can make it, of course. It would be wonderful to have you there as well. It'd be nice to see you experience Bloodstock because it is excellent. It really is good.
Yeah. Well, there's like I said, it's getting time off work. It's getting it's having the money to do it as well. It's not just me that has to get time off work. You know, Kelly would have to either get time off work to look after the kids.
Of course,
as well.
yeah.
But there is one possibility that might allow me to make it, and I'll go into that towards the end of the show if you want. Nobody else has heard. Well, I think nobody else has heard it, but yeah, it relates to a few things we've spoken about already.
Okay, do you want to go into it now, or
Okay, well, yeah.
I'm intrigued. Yeah.
So I mean, I've been promising that I'm going to start my own YouTube for a little while, probably over a year now.
Yes. Okay.
I do that with a lot of things. I wanted my own escape room for a long time, which kind of fizzled out.
Yeah.
But I've actually ordered a script now. So I've said on our show that I'm going to do it a few times, but I've not actually gone into much detail about what it is. Um,
Yeah.
and we were talking about being able to predict bands, and that's exactly what I want to do. Um, So once we get the announcement for download, I want to do a dive into each band that's playing and do a video specifically for them.
Okay.
There might be some lower bands that might not be able to find very much information about, so I might have to put 2 or 3 bands together if they're a bit lower down.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I can link that to, so I mean, someone like, say, Papa Roach. They might be playing festivals over in Europe, might be doing Rock am Ring or whatever. So
Mm-hmm.
I can put it out to that audience as well. But another thing I want to do alongside that, while I'm doing it, is I want to have like a spreadsheet. Everyone loves a good spreadsheet
Yeah.
or database. I need to find somebody technically good enough to put it together for me, and
Yeah.
just have all the bands that play each year, and then. And so I have it so I can click on them and I can see who they've played with recently, who they've toured with over the last 4 years in the UK. Because I
Yeah.
noticed a lot of the lower down bands that played this year have toured with some of the bands that played the last year or two.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think there is a way of predicting it. Going right,
Yeah.
who did these play with last year? And
Right.
then it will be cool. It will be very technically well done. Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. It's
Um,
going to be one of those videos that you click on at 12 o'clock at night and you're still watching them at 7 o'clock in the morning. You go down a rabbit hole.
Yeah, because I think you can because we've spoken to the organizers, and they choose the bands themselves, so they need to be.
Yeah.
And I think they've said, or is it Bloodstock I'm thinking of? No, I think it's Bloodstock I'm thinking of. No, I don't know. They choose on like the live show as well.
Mm-hmm.
So like the organizers go into gigs all the time, and I'm
Yeah.
assuming it's mostly in London. So you're going to want to be playing with bands that are playing in London, and supporting bands that are touring and going to London, and hopefully getting onto their radar. If you're playing
Yeah.
a back alley in the southwest of UK, Bridgewater, for example, no one's going to notice you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there are going to be lots of little things that we can look at.
Mm-hmm.
Types of venues as well. Have that in the database, what venues they played.
Yeah.
And then you might see that 50% of the bands have played a certain venue in the last 4 or 5 years in the UK or something like that. It's
Yeah. Because that's local to the guys booking the bands,
yeah,
and you can kind of piece it together.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I want to do. I wasn't very good at writing my own stuff. I know exactly what I want in
Yeah.
there, but it's writing like the script that gets people hooked at the beginning. You have
Mm-hmm.
to have like a paragraph of really like hooking. I can't think of the right word, but
Yeah. Something that's going to draw someone in to stay.
yeah. So I actually, like I said, I went on Fiverr and paid somebody
Oh,
to write a
okay.
script for me. The day after I paid them, I was like, I've just paid this guy less than I earn an hour at work. It's not going to be very good, is it? but
Yeah.
but it was all right. It was a good start, and I read
Mm-hmm.
it a couple of times, and there's a few things I'd add in and everything. I might put it to another script writer and say, look, this is what I've got so far.
Mm-hmm.
I want this bit at the beginning instead, And, so yeah, hopefully within the next couple of months, I should be starting
Yeah.
my own thing. Hopefully that can get me out of working at Royal Mail, and hopefully I'll be able to, I won't have to have time off for Bloodstock next year.
Oh, I
So
see. That's how we've come back around.
that's how we've
Yeah.
come back. Yeah, yeah. So like, I would love to be able to do it full time, because I would
Oh,
just
of
sit
course.
and
Yeah.
create database out of database, and I'd go back over the years as well
Mm-hmm.
and put everything.
I mean, there's got to be someone who's interested in literally everything there is to know talking internally for Download Festival and Live Nation. Somebody needs to do it. Do you know what I mean? To have that history and that database.
Yeah.
And I don't think there's anyone better to do it than yourself, Mr. Download. So you heard it here first. This is where he's planted the seed. So if he makes it that far, he'll remember us anyway.
Yeah.
He'll have us to thank for it.
Going to be bigger than Rob Kellis.
That's it. Yeah.
I think one of the reasons, like he came on our show last year sometime, and it was he's a really intelligent guy. He knows what he's doing. He doesn't just go to festivals and drinks. Because we were talking about like download vlogs, and why they will always do them. And he said like people who go and go to like download and not something like Reading and Leeds. And he said like metalers and nerds, and that's absolutely
that's right. Yeah.
Like people who go to, I mean, some people who go to Reading and Leeds might be interested in it, but yeah, heavy metal fans are nerds and love to consume everything they can about the festivals and gigs they go and do in the bands. So
yeah,
I think that could have been one of the seeds that were planted as well. It's like, oh, hang on, I could do something really nerdy then with a massive spreadsheet.
No, I can see you doing it. I can see you doing well from it. And thinking off the top of my head, I can think of not a few people. Just look at the Dear Download community; they'll eat that up.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. So you've already got the base audience, and there's room to grow because there's nobody else doing it, is there?
No.
Proper data. If you put it that way.
So yeah, data analysis,
awesome.
I guess. But yeah, so that'll be the sort of on the side, and like I said, a video per band. People love looking at the lineup and listening to it. People love YouTube.
Yeah.
And I might even reach out to some of the bands and say, look, give me a 30-second clip to stick at the end of this. Some of the smaller bands might do it. It's just building hype around all the bands. The bands want hype around them for people to come and see them at download. So
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Definitely. I mean, as soon as you put something up, my download prediction or packing for download, look at me, go and pick up some pot noodles from Asda for download.
Yeah.
People love it. Thousands upon thousands of views just for going and doing your weekly shop and slapping download on the title. But yeah. So you're going to get onto that upon the first announcement?
Yeah. So I'm going to do, I'm going to sort this script out that I've got, do a couple of practice takes of it. I'll probably send it to a few people to review it and rip into me and say that this is crap or this is really good. So you'll see that before anybody else as well.
Awesome.
But, yeah.
So if it doesn't make it out, it's because I've said it's shit and not to do it because I don't want the competition. And then you'll see me doing it the following year. Because that's how YouTube works, baby.
It is. I have another idea that I'm not telling you.
No, keep that to yourself because I'll do it.
Not because of you, because of somebody else who has lots of money and lots of followers. I might steal it because it's a good idea. Because he told me that. No. Rob Kellis. Again.
Oh, okay. Right.
I was thinking I want him part of it at some point, but I'm not going to tell him what it is before I start doing it because he's got more resources, more time, more money. And he would do it better than me.
Exciting things. Yeah. Exciting things to look forward to.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I will say, Chids and the Dippy Donuters know what it is.
Right, okay. Yeah, it's one of them, is it?
If you guys are listening, you know what I'm talking about, but yeah, it's something for the future.
So I need to go and hold them to ransom now. Great, yeah. Stuff to look forward to. I'm glad to hear it. Glad to hear you got stuff in the pipeline. That's awesome. So we're going to close off with your Desert Island discs. So I've asked you to choose 5 movies and 5 albums that you would choose if you were stranded on a desert island. Have you got those lined up?
I didn't realize you said 5. Although I have been thinking about it since listening to. I'm not gonna look it up to prove you wrong. You're probably right.
Do you want to start with albums or movies?
Let's go albums. I thought of 3 basically, not 5.
Okay, let's go for 3.
I obviously didn't read your message properly. So, do you know what? I was expecting to be talking about games a lot more because because of the gaming podcast. But so I've based these around games because
Okay, that's fine.
I've gone on a bit of a survival game binge for the
Okay.
last maybe 6 to 8 months.
We're talking video games or board games?
Yeah, video
Can
games.
you have video games? I was going to say, can
Yeah.
you have a survival board game? I don't know.
You can, yes.
Yeah.
Dead of Winter is one. Like a zombie game. You also got to
Mm-hmm.
survive, but you might be a traitor.
Right. Okay.
But also can't think of any more.
Well, tell you what. For board games, I'll get you and Jacobs back on to relaunch Men Podcasting Badly, and we will delve into it because I am interested. You've said it. Metalheads are nerds. I'm very much a nerd. I've just started reading Warhammer books thanks to Chris. Yeah, so I'm well up for it. Well up for anything nerdy.
Is that novels or White Dwarf or
novels? Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yes.
Well, I will say to you, if you're enjoying them, read the World of Warcraft novels as well.
I'll be honest, mate. Some of the books he sent me, I'm used to reading the Gruffalo and stuff like that at the moment. So to be given these fat books, huge books, I've never seen books so thick in my life. I think I'll be reading them for the next 6 years, to be honest. So,
yeah.
But after I've finished those, then I will look at World of Warcraft.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't read any of them, but I listened to a podcast who were reading them and they were going through the whole story and lore and everything. And it was awesome. Mm-hmm. I wasn't even playing it at that time. Anyway, sorry, back to survival. I went on a survival binge, and I was trying to work out what music I would want to listen to for the certain things you do in games. So what I'd be doing if I was stranded.
Yeah.
That was where I was going with it. So obviously you're going to be doing lots of work building things. You do that in survival games, and for the soundtrack for that would be can I do a live one?
Live one?
Compilation.
Oh, a live album. Sorry, of course you can. Yeah.
Had a live Machine Head 10. Because that is incredible.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You can see yourself crafting to that album.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then my favorite Iron Maiden album, which is Brave New World, I'd have to take that. I'd have that on pretty much all the other time, like things like tinkering with stuff.
Yeah.
And then what was the third one? I think I was going to say something like Dream Theater for when you're like come out with technology, like ideas and technology and building.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was I going to say that?
Something to get your brain working.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's say Dream Theater. Train of thought.
Awesome. Good three. Good three, definitely.
Thank you.
You say you're playing survival games. What games have you been playing?
I've played all sorts over the last sort of like 6 to 8 months, like I said. So I started with Stranded Deep.
Okay, yeah, know it.
Which is like island survival as well. You got to hop from island to island. So that's what I was thinking of. But I've played The Long Dark, which is a snow one. I didn't enjoy that as much. Subnautica, again, is a similar thing. I'm currently playing a game called Core Keeper, which is not as much as survival, but it's a similar kind of thing. You got it's like top down 2D.
Yeah.
And you build this massive base. Like you collect everything that you go out in the world, even like floor tiles and stuff.
Okay.
And you can bring them back to your base, and you can create little traps. So the monsters spawn from the floor tiles, from certain different floor tiles. So yeah, you can build like a little room with the orange slime, and these little orange orbs spawn from that. So you put little spikes down so it kills them, and you farm them that way. You got
what's that called?
Core Keeper.
Core Keeper. Okay.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Very addictive though. All sorts of survival games. I've tried The Village.
Have you played The Island? Is it The Island?
Dead Island or The Village?
No, The Island. Is it The Island? And you're playing crashes on the island, and it's cannibals.
Oh yeah, that's
The Island video game.
Not Village. That is. I've got it.
What's that called? It is The Island, isn't it? Is it The Island?
They brought a second one out a couple of years back.
Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking. I'm searching the island. It's not coming up. But anyway, that game is very good. I wish I could think what that's called now.
I can't
I'm
think of it.
stumped. The Forest.
The
That's what
Forest,
it is.
yeah, so not the Village. I was thinking of
Have you played
Resident
that?
Evil. I have.
Yeah.
I've played it. So, I mean, Kelly's not going to listen to this, but she'll laugh at me. I might do, but I played it with the cannibals off. I played Stranded
Right.
Deep with the sharks in friendly mode.
Friendly sharks.
I was more interested in like basically
The
building
survival
up from nothing than
the horror aspect of
yeah,
things.
yeah.
Mhm.
So yeah, she can laugh at me.
I'll
all
be
the
honest,
time.
I didn't know you could turn the cannibals off, but I wish I knew that prior to playing it because it's very scary.
Yeah, I didn't want it. I didn't want the scary thing. Another one
No.
is Green Hell. People talk about a lot.
I've heard of that, yeah.
Played Valheim a little bit. I wasn't that interested in Valheim, but yeah, I had a massive, massive binge of playing everything I could get my hands on.
Yeah.
And now it's so actually Core Keeper is more of a no, it's not. No, ignore me. Forget that.
So what are you currently playing? Sorry,
Core Keeper.
Core Keeper.
That's
Yeah.
what I've been playing. I've put like 60 hours into it in the last probably 3 weeks.
Yeah.
It's insane. So addictive. But yeah, sorry, I was going to say, I went through a bit of a binge of like, I like real-time strategy, but not when you got to send your armies out. So have you heard of They Are Billions? So it's basically a
No.
real-time strategy, but based defense, not sending your stuff out. And so I played a lot of them as well.
Well, see if you remember this one. The one I used to play on my dad's PC, was it Cossacks? Did you ever play that?
I remember seeing it. I don't think I saw it.
Was it Cossacks? I'm going to have another Google. It's essentially like, again, base, not turn-based. It is Cossacks, European Wars. And you essentially build your base, build farms so you can feed everyone, barracks so you can create armies and whatever. And that was brilliant. I used to love that, like the point and click kind of games.
Yeah.
I mean, even going as daft as Zoo. Was it Zoo Tycoon? I used to love that as well.
I never played that one.
No.
No.
Zoo Tycoon, Roller Coaster Tycoon. Used to love all stuff like that. Sims. That's probably where my gaming started, along with like your obvious ones like Tomb Raider. This was when we only had the PC in the house. There's that game as well. Claw. Did you ever play Claw?
No.
And you play as like a pirate cat.
No,
it sounds stupid now.
Now
put it. I'll have to send you some YouTube videos of that because that was an excellent game. That was like a side scroller, and you essentially played as a cat that was a pirate, but it was all really well made. It sounds silly, but it was all really well made. So I'll have to send you that.
Yeah.
I don't find time to play games at all anymore. In fact, I took my Xbox to CEX the other week, which was a depressing moment.
No.
I just don't have time to use it.
Oh, not cool, man.
No. I've been thinking that I think once a game comes out that I want to play, I'll probably just get one again.
Yeah.
I'll probably be in the time that it's going to take for a game to come out that I actually care about. You probably pick one up for like £100 or something.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the next thing that I'd really want to play is probably the new Gears of War, and that's not due out till latter part of next year anyway. So,
right.
For the time being, I'll twiddle my thumbs and record podcasts for no one to listen to. Right, so you've done your albums.
Yeah.
5 movies. Have you done that as if you're in a survival game as well? Or
No.
These are just movies.
It's just 3 movies. Yeah.
Okay, hit me with them.
So I kind of just went with the 3 movies that I've watched the most because I don't really repeat watching movies anymore. I don't know if you would have ever done
something we used to do a lot. I think that's like having non-physical media now.
Yeah.
When you had physical media before, you've bought that DVD, you've paid, DVDs used to be like £15 or whatever. You're going to get your use out of it. Like the amount of DVDs we had at our house where it'd be like, oh, should we watch that again? Should we watch that again? It's a Sunday afternoon. Should we watch that? Look at your selection of Sunday afternoon films. Okay, we'll watch that one again. But now it's so throwaway, everything now, isn't it? You watched it once. Okay, I'll never watch that again.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know what you mean. So I'm assuming these are going to be older films then that
They
you've
are.
watched many times.
Yes. So yeah,
Okay.
the first one I'm going to go for is Scooby-Doo, the movie.
The first one.
Yep.
Oh,
It was
that is such
amazing.
an incredible film. I love that film.
Yeah.
And I'm so surprised that that's your choice as well. But I'm glad it's your choice because now we can talk about Scooby Doo movie.
Yeah. So I think my granddad got that for me for Christmas one year. I think I was
Yeah.
like 16 at the time, so I wasn't young. I wasn't a young
No.
kid. And I watched it every night going to bed for
Yeah.
the whole of January. I'd, like just constantly watching it. I think something I've spoken to Simon about recently, actually, that he always has to have something on the TV when he's going to bed.
To fall asleep.
Yeah, I used to be like that, but
Mm-hmm.
Kelly would not stand that anymore. And even any lights on, like
Yeah.
little dots of like red lights from the computer or something, she hates
Mm-hmm.
that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
couldn't sleep without something on before.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And what a good choice.
good film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Certain bit that always kills me when when they're at the bar and they're like, I got a phone call for a Mr. Doo. And then a guy pops his head up and goes, Melvin Doo? No, Scooby Doo.
Yeah.
I love that bit. But
Yeah.
I'm the same. My nan had it at her house, and she must have had 5 DVDs at her house, and that was one of them. So I used to go around all the time during the school holidays. So we'd constantly just watch the same films over and over again. It was Scooby Doo, the Jimmy Neutron movie. What else was there? Made in Manhattan for some reason.
Saw that at the cinema.
Did you?
I don't remember much about it, but
No.
yeah.
I'd have to ask my sister to see which other ones were there, but I can definitely remember those 3. But it was either watch them or listen to Westlife CDs. So it was more often than not the Scooby Doo movie. So
yeah,
I'm there with you. That is a good choice.
Yeah, so good.
Next, what have we got?
So probably. So this one, I never considered it my favorite film, but whenever anybody asked me what my favorite film was, it was always the first thing that came to my head.
Okay.
And that's Pitch Black. With
Vin Diesel.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I don't know why. Like,
Yeah.
I did like it a lot. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it was always the first thing that came to my head. So I watched it a lot when I was young as well. It started my probably not very good obsession with Vin Diesel. I was pretty obsessed with him for a while.
Vin Diesel obsession.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, he was all right.
Yeah. I'll be honest. I watched it after your recommend. You must have done a favorite movies episode of the podcast.
Yeah.
And you spoke about it in depth. And I watched it, and it must have been you had to be there at the time kind of thing.
Okay.
Like, watching it now, you probably think it's just as good as when you first watched it, but it seemed quite dated to me. So
okay,
I didn't enjoy it as much as yourself, obviously. But that's a good thing about having your own favorite movies. Like, I could tell you my favorite movie, and you'd think, why the fuck's he chose that kind of thing?
Yeah.
But no, it's an interesting selection so far. Scooby Doo and Pitch Black.
Yeah.
What's the third?
The third is it's Dude, Where's My Car? I'm not going to give any kind of spiel before that. I absolutely love that film.
I've never actually seen that. I've probably tell a lie. That's probably been in the background over our cousin's house when they were older than us, and they put on something a bit more inappropriate for our age. But other than that, I don't think I've watched it.
Yeah, you should watch it.
Is it one to watch?
It's probably dated quite a bit as well now.
Yeah.
I would watch it still, though. It's very good.
Is that with Ashton Kutcher in that one?
Yeah. And what's the other guy? Stifler. I can't remember his name.
Oh, Sean William Scott, is it?
Yeah, that's what. Nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm an absolute movie buff, even for films that I haven't seen. I just seem to know everything there is to know.
Yeah.
For some reason. So I'll have to add that to my list as well. Dude, Where's My Car?
Yeah. That was a toss-up between that one and another one, actually. I think I probably said this one in the same episode, but Paycheck as well. an old one with
What's that one?
Who was that one with? Ben Affleck.
Oh, okay. Is that a comedy or?
No. So basically, he reverse engineers technology from other companies and then builds it for his company better.
Yeah.
But his mind gets wiped after each time, so he forgets that he's made it. So the company get all the credit. He gets nothing from it apart from
Oh, okay.
the paycheck, I guess. But he wakes up one day and he realizes that he's left himself some clues to try and figure out why
Oh, I see.
he shouldn't forget this one thing. And he's going through it, and like it's probably quite ridiculous actually. Like he sees like something on this keychain, and he goes, right, I need to go here for this one, and then
Yeah.
and it's discovering why he had to forget something that
Okay.
happened, and he's trying to remember it.
Awesome. And that was very nearly in your top 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was in my top 3 until I remembered Dude Where's My Car.
Okay.
And I was like, I can't have Dude Where's My Car out. And I can give a 5 actually with this one because there's another
go
one.
for it. Give me another 2.
That's 4 so far. So
It is 4.
yeah.
Give me another 1.
another Monty Python's Holy Grail. I've watched that
Oh.
many times.
What a film.
I've sat across with a friend. So one of the copies I've got of it is it's got the script of it as well. And so I've sat across with a friend just going through the whole script together.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. But yeah, one of my favorite films of all time. Yeah.
It's brilliant. I think I'd be there with you, being able to recite the script. Probably not as much now, but I remember my mum and dad buying the box set on DVD in the blue sleeve, and we'd watch the other ones, like Now for Something Completely Different, Meaning of Life, Life of Brian, and then there was Holy Grail in there. We watched all the other ones, and they didn't click as much. And Holy Grail, we just must have watched it every weekend.
Yeah.
Like for weekends on the bounce. Honestly, we thought it was hilarious, and it still is now. It's the kind of thing that I probably couldn't watch with Georgia because she just wouldn't get it.
No,
I don't think. So it's one of those things I'll have to watch once she's gone to bed.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. That's like British comedy at its best, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. There were. I mean, I used to go around quoting it all the time. Like, for example, shouting "ni" at people all night Sunday night at Download.
Yeah. The knights who say "ni."
Yeah. But there's another point where he's talking to the peasant who's doing like the farming, and I think his name's Dennis, isn't it? And he's saying like, "Oh, I didn't know you're called Dennis." No, he's like, "I'm a man. I couldn't just call you man." So I went round for years calling men just man because I was like, "Yes, you can, man."
He's like, wait, you could have called me Dennis.
Yeah,
I didn't know your name was Dennis.
Didn't know you're called Dennis. I'm not old. I'm 37. Well, I'm sorry about the old woman bit, but from behind, look. Anyway, yeah. So because of that one tiny line in it, that most people probably wouldn't have picked up on for years. I would, if I saw someone I knew, I'd say man.
Just man. It's a general term.
Made it completely a part of my personality. That film. Yeah.
No, it's great. I'll have to get onto it again. Go through all of the films again, to be honest, because they are good. Life of Brian is good. It's got its good bits, hasn't it? So
yeah,
they are great.
Yeah, I want to start showing my kids some things like this, but I never know what's got swearing in it or not these days.
Holy Grail should be okay. I know there's obviously watching it so much in my teenage years. I know there are boobies in there at some point, but yeah. Short of that, it should be suitable.
Yeah, well, there's a few things I've tried to show Soren, and it's like, oh no, I forgot this had swearing in it. Let's turn that down. I said something about chids earlier.
Yeah,
and Soren said, "Oh, what?" I said, "Oh, he's a YouTuber." He said, "What's the shortest video?" So I scrolled through some of the videos. Right, this is a short one. I don't know if it's got swearing in it. And so I clicked on it, and one of the first words was "fucking," and I was like, "All right, yeah, okay, come out of that." Thank you, Chids.
Of all the people to show him, you showed him Chids.
Yeah, I can't remember where that came
Quality.
around now, but yeah. Anyway,
I remember being.
the kids were
Go on.
looking. The kids were looking at some download photos on my phone, and they saw a picture of Chids at our meetup, and they was like, "Who's that?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "That's Chidsbits. He's a YouTuber." Soren loves YouTube. He wants to be a YouTuber, and that's how it came about.
Yeah. Well, in relation to like you not wanting to show them certain things because of certain things in films, the amount of times my parents did exactly the same, put films on for us from like the 80s or whatever, and they're like, "Oh shit, turn it off." It'd be like, is it in the first Terminator where it just all of a sudden goes into them like frantically shagging or something? I just remember them trying to turn it off quickly. Braveheart. I think Braveheart was the same. This just so. Is it Braveheart? Is that the one with Mel Gibson?
Yes, I
Yes.
can't help
There's
you
just
though, because I don't remember the film.
so many instances where it's like, quick, where's the remote?
Yeah.
So I know where you're coming from with those.
Another one I remember was I was trying to show him the Imagination song from South Park, because he
Right.
was singing something similar, and I was like, "Oh, look at this," and I clicked on it. I thought it'd be all right because they're just singing Imagination for ages. But the first thing that Butters says is, "Are you going to rape us?" And feel free to bleep that out because it's obviously that word.
It's okay.
And the Butters goes, is this guy going to rape us? I was like, fuck's sakes. Why? I mean, it's South Park. I should have known better. But
Yeah, you should have known
thought
better,
it was going to
definitely.
be okay.
Right, I think we've reached a stage. We've covered everything there is to know about Adam Cox and the future of Adam Cox. We've
Yeah.
got some things in the pipeline, which is exciting. I'm glad to hear that you're doing more and more. I'm excited myself.
Yeah. Don't hold me to that, because I've always got something else in the pipeline, and it doesn't always happen.
Come to fruition, but the ideas are there, and one day you're going to do it, and it's going to be game changing, I'm sure.
Hopefully.
Perfect. Well, where can people find you in the ether?
So I don't really do a lot online personally, but yeah, Dear Download. Search Dear Download or Dear Download podcast on any podcast platform, or just in Google. I'm sure we're probably one of the first people to come up now on there. I have thought of the name. When is this going to be coming out? Because I need to go and make the YouTube channels before anybody else does.
Oh, okay.
How long have I got?
I'll put this out probably tomorrow evening.
Okay. I'm not working tomorrow, so that's fine. So yeah, the YouTube channel, it should be called Festival Spotlight.
Ooh, exciting. This is a world exclusive Trash Talking podcast, world exclusive Festival Spotlight.
Yeah. I have checked, it's not been taken by anybody else.
Nab it quick.
No, I'll make up all the accounts tomorrow when I'm off work. But like I said, it might be 2 to 3 months before anything's even out.
Yeah.
So yeah, keep an eye out. It might come out, it might not.
It will come out. We'll make sure it does. No, perfect. Thank you for taking the time to come on. Always a pleasure. Great to talk to you, as always. Yeah, thank you. And yeah, we'll be getting you back on for your Men Behaving Badly relaunch later down the line as well.
Awesome. Well, it won't be a relaunch of the podcast. Sorry, it'll just be a special episode with Simon on it for Dear Download. So it'll be Dear Download Podcasting Badly, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Sorry, I didn't realize. Yeah.
Understood.
Yeah,
gotcha.
just a one-off episode, but I will be releasing it on the Men Podcasting Badly as well. But yes, no, thank you for inviting me on. It's strange not being a host.
Yeah, you are the guest. You are the one being probed.
Yeah, I tell you what, I wasn't a host in Men Podcasting Badly either. I was very much not a host. We did some live Facebook things where Jacobs would disappear, and I'd just be sat there. I'd have a Garth moment from Wayne's World. I'd be like, oh, I don't know what to do. So if you listen to it from then, things have changed. I've grown as a host, grown as a person, and things are going well. So yeah, thank you for having me on. It's been really good. Really enjoyed it.
Perfect. Yes, thank you very much. And yeah, we'll catch you next time on Trash Talking Podcast. Thank you for listening. Love you all. Bye-bye. Adam, say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I had no idea how to end that just now, I'll be honest, but that'll do.